Well, let's talk about real or unreal money, as money leading to benefits or as a complete void. Whatever the money is, whatever its value, in whatever form it exists, whether it is ordinary money rustling in the hand or electronic money, they are all conditional. People agree to exchange something between themselves for a certain monetary unit, then it gains power. As soon as you destroy this idea, the money will turn into nothing. And therefore, in fact, from the very beginning I am letting you understand what real money really is, because it is money that people really believe in. But do not rush to close this page, do not think that you know and understand everything, devote a little more of your precious time to my material, and I will tell you many more interesting things about real and unreal money, which will always be useful in life. First, let me recommend you to read another article of mine, which is called Problems with Money. It is not at all necessary to do this now, in the sense, to read it, you can do it after you read this article. Both this and that article will help you to significantly increase your knowledge about money, to enrich it, so to speak. It is very important, you must agree, to understand well what your life depends on so much. And our life depends on money very much, I think we all understand this perfectly well. And so, the lion's share of people's questions related to understanding real money relate to electronic money, since paper money does not seem to arouse suspicion, unless of course it is drawn, but electronic money is something completely incomprehensible for many. This is not surprising, since the conservative brain cannot even get used to changing faces on banknotes, let alone money in the form of 0 and 1, even with a real serial number. However, electronic money is no less real than paper money. This is being told to you by a person who lives on electronic money. And I don't cash out much, I throw everything directly on the internet to the places I need. I need to pay for housing and communal services, no problem, I transfer the required amount to the management company's account and everything is ready. I do the same with the internet, mobile communications, some services, and even goods. In short, I do what I can in electronic currency. What difference does it make what I pay with and through what, if you get the benefit you need in return, if you achieve your goal? There is no difference, of course. The main thing is not to forget to focus on the mass use of this or that money, otherwise, as some say, they will be nothing more than points, for which you can't buy anything. You know how it happens, in the same social networks, where you actually upload real money, but in return you get absolutely unnecessary nonsense from a reasonable point of view, pearls, Malix, points, or whatever else the geniuses of all these resources have come up with? This money is not real, you can only pay for entertainment in the social network itself. If childhood is playing in the ass, then why not do this, why not sponsor other people, in such a primitive way? But seriously, the web money system, at the moment in terms of electronic money, is the most real electronic currency, if we talk about domestic electronic money. There is also Yandex Money, and some other systems, but their popularity, and therefore reality, is less significant. Let's say, they will be cancelled tomorrow due to irrelevance, and no matter how much money you save up, it will turn into trash, into electronic trash, which you can no longer pay for anything with. Although what about electronic money? This has happened to us many times with ordinary money, with the money that lies in bank accounts and in socks. As I already said, money is a convention, it is a game that we play, but the rules of this game can change from time to time. Realism of real money. People who are ignorant of financial matters, and there are most of them, because people are not taught about money and everything connected with it since childhood, they don't need it, so these people think and guess, what should they keep their money in? Well, it seems that the dollar is stable, although it is based only on faith in it, but it is stable. The ruble, for example, is not appreciated everywhere, but many are familiar with the dollar. Only the rate of this dollar itself is constantly changing, which somewhat confuses people who are drawn to stability. The dollar as a monetary unit is real, because if the dollar did not become real today, the world economy would be in a great storm. Nobody wants this, nobody needs this, that is why the world is still tolerating growing appetites, and along with them the growing external debt of the USA, which I feel no one is going to pay off. Therefore, my friends, although I am a patriot, within reasonable limits, of course, because you have to have at least some respect for the system that has taken care of you in some way, but still I must state the fact that, despite all the wretchedness of the dollar, it nevertheless seems to me to be a more real and stronger currency, even despite its current lack of backing, compared to other currencies. Why do I say that it seems to me? Because I cannot know what is on the minds of those in power. Tomorrow they can replace the dollar, and then everything will end sadly for those who keep their money in this currency. But I would not attach much importance to this, because everything will be sad not only for those who have money in dollars, everything will be sad for many, except for the financial tycoons. And so I can confidently say, and I am not a financial expert on currency, but I can say that if the dollar collapses, then the world will have a very bad economic situation. In this regard, do not sweat and rush from corner to corner, looking for the most acceptable option for saving money. Keep them in dollars. The reality of money, dear friends, is determined by those who invented it. Of course I can say that our heads determine it, but can you expect anything reasonable from unreasonable people? If tomorrow on TV they say, the dollar is kaput, who do you think will really ruin this currency, or any other? Of course, a reasonable person. Who else? As it seems, 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, the people in our country managed to raise the price of salt for themselves, and even make it in short supply for themselves, this product, of which there has always been plenty. So whether we want it or not, the reality of money is determined by those in power, and you don't always know what's in the heads of these people in power, because it works a little differently for them than for us. Therefore, if you suddenly think that there is something that will never lose its power, then you are very much mistaken. Even gold is as conditional as electronic money, in hungry times, and no one will need it. The reality of money, as well as the honesty embedded in it, is essentially an idea suggested to us, that's all. Read my article Honest Money. I discussed this issue in it, discussed it with myself. Here it is important to understand something else. With all this honest, not honest, right, wrong, real, unreal money, that you need to be a person who knows how to earn it. They will decide tomorrow to make not money, but, say, bottle caps as a means of exchange, and they will come up with rules by which you can do this. You understand, you will have to adapt to the new system. Don't limit yourself in your possibilities. It is because of doubts and fear that many people significantly limit themselves. People are used to, say, working for someone somewhere at a company, a factory, or God knows where else, and that's it. For them the reality of money is the money that the owner pays them. But in relation to the same electronic money, few people even think about it as an excellent way to live and, as they say, not to blow a pipe. When I myself, somewhat deeper than an ordinary user, delved into the meaning of earning money on the internet, spat on all businesses and other tedious types of earnings and moved to the virtual world, to work, as many say, 4 points. Only these points provide me quite well, but I will write about this as the site develops. I do not mind sharing information with other people who, due to their lack of understanding, continue to bend their backs with a hoe in their hands. I recommend you read my article called What to Pay Money For. I recommend you do this so that you can understand how real money can be in a place where there are people with their unlimited desires. Understand that most people part with their money faster than it gets into their hands, and it does not matter what you sell your services for, it is important that you are ready to pay for them with something. Let's say electronic money, in order to become real, must be cashed. But in order for real money to become electronic, it must also be converted into electronic money, through really simple actions. Therefore, electronic money is impossible without real money, and this makes it more real than real money. What is interesting is that everything depends on the laws. If they pass a law on the uncontrolled production of paper or electronic money, then they will make you either candy wrappers or numbers as much as you need. And why would you need it? Only to work for this money, which is what the powers that be need, so that you work and thereby create real values in the form of the result of your labor. Do you want to have good toys, cars and rags, expensive items, stones and trinkets? No problem, we will make them for you. You just need to work. Here is a loan for you, which may never be cashed out, but remain in electronic money. Just work. Such is the conceptual ideology of the powers that be. And a person works for a carrot dangling in front of his nose, and he works not for one, but for two, for three, or even for 10. The idea with Stakhanov is resting these days. Today everyone works like horses, because they want a lot. Well, and if people there began to roam the internet, if they got used to using plastic cards, why waste paper in vain, printing annoying mugs on different denominations, different currencies? Well, and you, at least choose for yourself the most convenient way to earn money, as I did. It does not matter what you will be paid with. If it can be used to exchange someone else's labor, then why not accept for real money the money that you agreed to consider real? Instead of chains and whips, money freed humanity from slavery in its primitive form, allowing it to remove chains from people and chain their minds in stronger and much more effective chains. It is understandable that forging chains from iron is somewhat more difficult than printing papers, and how to motivate people to work is of no particular importance, as long as they work at all. For those who are not particularly far-sighted, they came up with such an interesting thing as loans. Grab some nonsense now and pay for it later. The main thing is to work hard. These are the chains of the present time. They are as real as iron chains. We just do not see them. They are in our heads. Nevertheless, they work. We work. Everyone does something in order to earn more money, to make their lives better. Some do it honestly, some deceive people, some forcibly take their money from them, and this is our world. I suggest you earn your money honestly in the sense that you do something for someone, and they do something for you too, and money serves as an intermediary in mutual settlements. Electronic or some other money, it is not so important, if they are conditionally a means of mutual settlements for you. If no one refuses to accept them, then why not use them? While I was writing this article, my internet suddenly turned off. In principle, this sometimes happens, and therefore I did not attach much importance to this fact. I think now I will rest a little and the internet will appear, after which I will continue writing. But the internet did not appear, because as I later found out, I was in a state of financial blocking, for non-payment of the internet. That's how things are. I pay for a long time. The last time I paid for the internet for 4 months, after which I forgot about it, and now it turns out that 4 months have passed, and I had to pay again. Fortunately, I had the necessary amount on my bank card, which I used to pay for the internet, after which I added some money from my e-wallet. In general, the problem was solved by electronic money, which was at hand. My friends, they really worked. This is what drives people today, money. It is a real value for them, not even what can be bought for this money, but the money itself. Many people have a different perspective on it. Read my article Attention to Money. It will help you understand how a person should act if he needs money. But of course, I must also tell you that the idea of money, as an idea that puts money in the foreground, is not quite the right idea. No matter how much money we earn, no matter how we do it, if tomorrow the idea collapses, and the most real money becomes unreal, then the person who focused his attention exclusively on money will be left out in the cold. This will not happen to everyone, because not everyone is driven by money, but the fact is, during a crisis, the number of suicides increases. And these are no longer teenagers driven by sexual instinct, committing suicide from supposedly unhappy love. These are not religious fanatics or other crazy people who have perverted ideas about life and death. We are talking about quite wealthy people whose bank account has been depleted by several million and who considered this a catastrophe for themselves. Here you have money. How can you attach importance to it if you begin to depend on it, if its realism is embedded in a person's head, and not in the money itself? In my opinion, this is not the best guideline in life. It is better to set higher goals, and let money apply to our personal qualities. Do you think there is something reasonable in this? Well, these are certainly not questions for an immediate answer. You need to think about your life first, then carefully weigh everything and believe in yourself as a person who is able to survive in any conditions. What do I think? I know that both you and we as people will break through under any conditions, so that we can raise our paws up. Today there is money and it works, tomorrow it is gone, well, screw it. Soviet money has depreciated, everything in books turned into miserable pennies. Then the crisis of 1998 also screwed many of us. So what, did we die or something? They won't get this from us. Only those who don't believe in themselves but believe in money become sour. Well, they always become sour from any problems. If money ceases to be real, well, dear readers, I think at this point, we will define the concept that we associate with real money, which is not as real as it seems to us, and we will show it, money, the right place in our lives, that is, near the toilet. But we will bring ourselves to the forefront. We, people, are certainly much more real than any money. I would like to immediately recommend you to read my article Knowledge About Money, if of course you have not already read it. After all, I tried to write it to give you more self-confidence. Knowing and understanding, nothing will scare you, no situation will knock you off track. You came across this article, as I understand it, because of your doubts about some conventional units that people have agreed to consider money, and which, in turn, seem very suspicious to you in this role. But in this entire, rather long article, I explain to you that all money is not real, and I don't want to sow doubts about it in you as much as I want to simply shift your perspective. To hell with money. Well, for example, I figured out a few tricks and made money, but I don't value that. I value what I write about here on this site. I value understanding of money, the flexibility of thinking that I have acquired, and sociability. That's probably what you can call it. By the way, I want to thank those few of my readers at the moment for their gratitude, which they expressed to me, being attentive and understanding. Thank you, friends, it's much more fun to work like that. Well, and I, in turn, will give each of my readers a lot of useful information for him, having understood which he will be able to significantly change his life for the better. And in it, money, no matter how you twist it, is still not the main thing. In it the main thing is the person, first of all, of course. But other people are also important to you. They bring you their money, they pay you for your actions, and if you learn to be useful to people, then even if you abolish money altogether, you will not remain hungry. An official can be driven out of his warm place, and if he does not know how to do anything except parasitize on others, it is not a fact that he will be able to settle down somewhere as profitably as on the state trough. A person who has studied some scheme for earning money can also discover at one fine moment that this scheme does not work. And what remains? To look for new solutions, that is, but will a person be able to find them, being not properly prepared for this? Life shows us a variety of cases, so we will not be unambiguous in our answer, because the most important thing, I think, you have already understood. Money, whatever it is in fact all illusory. Do not rack your brains over it too much, because there are more real things in this life, that is, you and your abilities. If tomorrow they take everything away from me, if tomorrow they dispossess me, mother of them, the eternally dissatisfied working class, so what? I did not steal, I did not take away, I thought up money for myself, I will think up more, people will not have time to blink an eye, as I will put my life in order. So be it Robin Hood, or all sorts of officials, they are all the same, they only want to take away and deceive, that is, take someone else's. Today, some of you do not know how to earn money, and hate those who know how to do it, and tomorrow you learn to do it, immediately say that those who cannot, those are lazy. We all shout from our bell towers, I'm right, mine, oh well, yours, they'll take it away, it won't be yours. So the people who have power can easily screw us whenever they want, but they won't do it if we are strong and smart. Don't envy each other and try to deceive each other, but help each other, teach, prompt. Collective compatibility should become a common desire for everyone to become stronger people. When something happens, we will survive, under any conditions, and no fucking crises or other tricks of those in power will break us. So don't rack your brains with fears about money, learn, develop, become stronger, and we will make a fairy tale come true, and the unreal real.